Thank you very much for joining me. How you been? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Back. Steve Renazizi. I'm the guy. I'm the guy. Fucking lit. I'm the guy. Steve Renazizi. Lit. I'm the guy. I'm the guy. Fucking lit. I'm the guy. Steve Renazizi. What's the odds? What's the odds? What's the odds?
So here we are, another week of football. And there's probably gigantic disappointment on your end. Brenton's got the Christmas tree up again. I actually have a Christmas tree in my house now because I told Tracy about your Christmas tree and how stupid it was. And she said, I'm putting mine up tomorrow. We didn't get enough pumpkins. I don't feel in the spirit yet. I want to get in the Christmas spirit. And so, boom, now I have got a fucking Christmas tree that I light up too. But I got bigger fish to fry right now. Last week, I was sick on the podcast, as some of you remember. And then I flew down to Arlington to Dallas area, which, by the way, thank you to everyone that came to the shows. It's fun. I haven't been at Addison Improv in forever, and I forgot how great of a club it was. The crowds were fucking sweet, but flying with a cold, my ears didn't pop, and then I don't know what's going on. But then I flew home on Sunday, and my right ear has still not popped. It's been 3.5 days now. And I still can't hear.
As we're sitting here right now, it hasn't.
No. And I've done all the things where you hold your nose and you blow, which I hate. And I've done a lot of shit. I've gone on YouTube a couple. If there's anyone out there that knows how to pop an eardrum, I guess back into play. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I cannot hear. It sounds like, like I could hear myself chewing shit. It's fucking terrible. It's been 3.5 days. And really, it was almost like 6 days because I never really got it 100% in Dallas when I was down there. So it's like I have the volume up on TV shows to like 45. It's a glimpse into the future, dude. When I'm an old deaf man.
Yeah, you're turning into an old man right in front of us.
Like the
We're
kids
just watching you decay. This podcast in seasons. 1 year it's back surgery. Now it's what?
So I pick the kids up. I drop them at school. Whenever I drive the kids around, the boys, obviously I'm driving. Jackson's in the front seat now because he's a man, and Jonah's always on the passenger back seat. So now the other day, like Monday or Tuesday, I'm driving. They had a whole conversation. I had no idea because I can't hear anything coming out of this side of my fucking head. And now they're talking shit about it's crazy. So I gotta do something, dude. I gotta do something. I've taken Sudafed, the decongestants, everything. I've tried everything. I stood on my head. I literally stood on my head for like 10 seconds just to try to move shit around. Moving my ear, sticking it in the water. It's weird, but it sucks because I'm starting to get like, a couple days. I was like, all right, it'll go away. And now I'm like, what the fuck? It almost feels like with this ear pod in, like this sounds exactly the same as this.
That's nuts.
I have no idea the difference. It sucks. Only one ear. So, but other than that, I had a great time down in Dallas. Apparently not as good as you had, Brenton, in Chicago, sending me thirst trap pictures of pizza on Saturday night.
Have to give a shout out to Professor Pizza. Let me pull up his Instagram. But this guy, he's like a world pizza champion. He's won competitions, and he doesn't have a brick and mortar store yet, but he's been doing
So what did
out of. Yeah. He makes pizzas, and it's all set to go. You just got to put it in the oven, and he takes them to like bars and stuff, and they sell out instantly, and they're just insane. The level of art that goes into it. Like there's photos up on my Instagram of what he made for us, and it was all, I was with Sickler, so it was all like Sickler inspired pies. So I gave him your info. He's gonna, have you reached out to him?
Not yet, no.
You need to DM at Professor Pizza. Follow him.
I'm gonna slide it to at Professor's DMs, dude.
Yeah, it was the greatest pizza legitimately the greatest pizza I've ever had in my entire life. It was insane. His grandma slice is the best thing ever.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
It, little pepperoni cups charred perfectly with a little bit of heat,
all right.
spicy honey on it. Sicilian slice. His Detroit style crust was perfect. And he put crab on that thing with the Old Bay seasoning and the potato chips,
Can't
little
go
green
wrong
onion.
there.
It was insane. Honeydew and
Very
prosciutto.
artisan types. Yeah.
Honeydew and
yeah.
prosciutto does not sound great on a pizza. It was the best thing on a pizza
First
I've
of
ever had.
all, hot melon wrapped in prosciutto is one of my. It's like an Italian treat. Like we have it all the time.
Oh,
so yes, it's perfect together.
Yeah, he
I'm not a big
it.
fan of fruit on pizza always, but can I ask what nationality is this guy?
I think he's Italian.
Okay.
His
Because
name's
did you
Tony.
ever?
He was
Yeah, but
pretty
did you
Italian.
ask him? Did you ever ask him about your turkey parm idea? Because I mean that's basically raping
if he could
Italian
put
culture
turkey
right
parm
there.
on a pizza,
No. I just wanted
that's a
to see
great
if you
idea.
even brought it up.
He could put the turkey parm on a pie.
You know what? I'm going to bring
Combine
it
the
up to
two
him.
greatest things. Yeah, can you
I'm
bring it
gonna
up
bring
to
it
him
up to him.
shoot
And
a
I'm gonna
video and
tell
see
him,
what he says?
see how disgusted he is when he reacts
Honest
to how
reaction.
gross
It's
the thought of
delicious.
turkey
I don't
parm.
care what you say. It's delicious. And it's a Biddlecombe tradition to take that leftover turkey, bread it up, put some cheese on top, and then slather it in marinara and put it on top of pasta.
It makes me sick to my stomach, even just hearing you recant
So good.
how it goes, how it happens. The leftover turkey is for gigantic, overindulgent sandwiches the next day. And then whatever you have left over, you make a soup or a broth or like a fucking, dude, nobody
You're missing out.
is adding marinara. You notice how there's like no like
Missing out.
tomato, like the closest thing you come to like is cranberries on Thanksgiving. Nobody's fucking with tomatoes and turkey. They just don't go together. It doesn't make sense at all. You get
Steve,
a salad. You want to add a protein to that?
You can
it's
achieve
shrimp or chicken.
And
Nobody
it's
ever says, hey,
delicious.
you have turkey.
It's delicious.
It's
But
disgusting.
everyone should follow Professor Pizza, and he says he's working on being able to ship his pizzas all over the country very soon. So hopefully that happens. He's going to have
I can't wait to try.
He's going to have an actual restaurant opening up. He said maybe sometime around February next year, and then he's going to be able to ship pizzas. So as soon as he's able to do that, I'm having fucking pizza sent in from him because it was the best pizza. So thank you, Professor Pizza. And he turned the whole green room into a kitchen. Like he brought his oven in and he had everything set up and it was awesome.
See, I might have a problem with that because I do extensive stretching in the green room before shows. So,
well, we did this all after the show. This was all.
Oh,
after.
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
good.
He fed us. He fed the staff. He was just a super great guy.
That's fucking sweet. That's the way it should be. Feeding the staff is very important. So yeah, that's I can't wait. By the way, I'm going to be in Chicago in a couple weeks. So
yeah, saw your poster.
December 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th, I believe it is. The Thursday at downtown, Friday, Saturday at Rosemont out by the airport where Brenton was this past weekend, and then Sunday night back downtown for one show. Tickets are at steverannazeezy.com. But anyway, that's awesome. Now tell me where you watched one of the, look, the Bills are so exciting. I know it didn't go your way, but like they are consistently in the best football games every single week, year. If you got to pick the top football games over the course of the last couple of years, the Bills are in almost every one of them. Now, they're not always on the right side of them. They're usually not. But they are always exciting and crazy. Where were you guys? Give me your reaction. I want to hear about what you're feeling as far as the Buffalo Bills are concerned. Because, by the way, and I'm giving you this respect because as the team in first place in the state of New York,
New Jersey,
the New York Football Giants
of New Jersey.
Don't be disrespectful, dude. Don't make me fucking have to start talking shit about beating you guys in the Super Bowl again. I don't want to do it. You don't want to face the New York Football Giants. And Daniel Jones and our potent offense. Daniel Jones throws to people who I've never heard before. Let's play a game called
Well, first
Homeless.
of all, Isaiah
Uh,
Hodgkins was cut from our practice squad, and you picked him up, and he had a decent game for the Giants. I was happy to see him playing, but my God, you have so many former Bills, and then
yep.
Kenny Galladay can't catch a cold. I loved
Gone.
when he got booed because he
We should
deserved
play a
all of
game
that.
called regular person or Giants receiver. See if you can name, is this person a Giants receiver or in Death Squad or Black Star, what some band. So what I'm saying is like I don't know any of these people that they're throwing the ball to. What I do is Kadarius Toney caught a touchdown for fucking Kansas City. Was that his first of his career, that cunt?
And it was.
Yeah. Fuck you.
He looked good.
Oh, fuck you.
But that was
Fuck
because
everybody. I'm surprised he didn't tear a hamstring.
That was because Mecole was out already, and then Juju got hurt.
Yeah,
so he got called up probably earlier than Andy Reid wanted him playing as much as he did.
And of course, he comes through, something he could never do for the Giants. But the point is this:
he looked good for the Giants for a game and a half. The talent was there. We all saw the talent. He just couldn't stay healthy. Give him a couple weeks. He will get hit.
No, thank you. No, thank you. We need a receiver badly, but you know what? All we do is win, win, win. So no matter what, guys, no matter what.
Yeah, I wish we had your schedule.
Just continue to. Oh, you fucking silly bitch. A schedule that was made fucking 3 years ago. You're complaining about now. Strength of schedule. Basically, everyone's games are blocked out for the next 3 years, 4 years. You know who your division's going to be playing. So you play your division guys 3 times, 6 games, and then the other play, you play the other division and everybody else. We're all playing the same fucking people. We just happen to beat the teams we're supposed to beat. You guys are not doing that now.
No, but I mean, so Lucas and I were talking about this before the podcast. If we beat Cleveland and we beat Detroit, which they should be able to do, we'll be 8-3. And I think at the start of the year, we thought 8-3 would be a good place to be. And we just probably thought that they were going to lose to different teams. Like we thought they were going to lose to the Rams and maybe to the Titans, possibly to the Chiefs. We didn't think they were going to lose to the Vikings, the Dolphins, and the Jets. So they're fine. That game, they really need to reevaluate the offense. I think Allen, first off, is hurt. So maybe he shouldn't have played because his elbow didn't look great. He made some bad throws.
I will say that I watched the majority of that game of the second half when he threw the ball a lot more. Actually, I was flipped back and forth between whenever the Giants went to commercial, I went over the Bills. And I saw him make some throws that I was like, that is not the throw of an injured man. I'm talking hard. He let some balls 100%. Go that are John Elway rockets. And when you go back and look at the angle he threw him from, he maybe not 100%, but it was much better and much more accurate than I thought he was going to be. And it didn't ever seem to be an issue at all. Unless you're attributing the turnovers and the interceptions to it, which, if you go back at them, they were all mental, which and I'm going to throw my 2 cents out there. Right. Here's what I think. I think this is a blessing for you guys. I think you guys came into the season with tons. The Super Bowl favorite, haven't really veered off of it. If we were doing this college football style, you guys would be the number 1 ranked team every single week. Nobody would have, even the weeks you lost, you probably wouldn't have lost a number 1 ranking. Not even to the Eagles, maybe once or twice. But I think if you hooked everyone up to a lie detector test, there's more belief and respect in the Bills than there are the Eagles, even though the Eagles might be better. But the Bills, have been there, they've been tested, and they're playing at a really high level. With all that having had happened all season long, I think obviously losing to the Dolphins was okay. Well, this was a test. We weren't at our best. Our defense wasn't there, and we barely lost the game. So without that, now you lose to the Jets. Okay, division rival. Now the Vikings come in, and although they are a 7-1 team on paper, you should have beat them. You believe, probably a better team on paper, but I think that losing to them now puts maybe not on your heels, probably not exactly where you want to be, but I don't think you guys are the front runners anymore, and I think that's where you want to be. I think going towards the playoffs, I think making these mistakes now, because these are Josh Allen 3 years ago's mistakes. These are throws that he made against the Houston Texans in the playoffs, against, guys, throws that should not have been made. He's making those again. But I think he knows that he's very hard on himself. He will correct those things. And he is ultimately more talented than anybody else in the NFL at that position. I believe he's better than Mahomes. There's nobody else. So if once in a while he has these brain farts where he tries to force a throw, or it's different than Dak Prescott is what I'm saying. I watched Dak Prescott not be on the same page with receivers, and he does not have the mental ability and or the physical abilities to overcome those things. Josh Allen, I believe, will be better for this. I think this will be a benefit to them as a team. Look, I mean, this is assuming that they don't go on like a downward spiral, which I don't think they were. And then, obviously not make the playoffs. Unfortunately for them, they're in a division where if they lose a game or two more, they might not even fucking make the playoffs, which is probably the most baffling thing to consider. Mm-hmm. But I do believe that they are going to win the division. This will be a situation where now they can figure out they've made the mistakes that how they beat themselves, so they can correct them, hopefully. And then when you get to the playoffs, you don't beat yourself. And that's really what it comes down to, because they should beat almost every other team they play in the playoffs, as long as they don't beat themselves. And that's what happened, I think. I think if you asked Josh Allen, they beat themselves this week. They've really
beaten themselves all three of the losses. They haven't been, it's not like they've come out and they've gotten hit in the mouth and got spanked. I think one of the bigger issues is that Josh is pressing. That's why he's making mistakes he was making 3 years ago, because he feels like he has to do everything. And Ken Dorsey, the offensive coordinator, addressed that we had to reevaluate, because I really think he's pressing the way that Mahomes was pressing last season when he was struggling early, where they were putting two safeties deep and he wasn't taking everything that was in front of him. And so he feels like I have to make a big play every time I'm on the field. But the whole reason that they brought in new offensive linemen and beefed it up, and they brought in a new offensive line coach, and they drafted James Cook, was to run the ball when they have a lead, to drain the clock and not have to lose in 13 seconds. They got a 17-point lead on the Vikings. They're not running the ball. They're still throwing. They're turning the ball over. They let the Vikings walk back into that game. And even still, the Vikings had to have a 4th and 18 miracle pass. That was one of the best catches I've ever seen. They had to have the Bills fumble at their goal line, and not only fumble, but then them recover it as a touchdown instead of a safety. Because if it's a safety, 40 seconds left, they have no timeouts. I don't get that either.
And I'm yelling, just do the safety thing. The Giants did it a couple of weeks ago.
I don't understand why they didn't do that.
Granted, what are they up by 5 at that point?
They were up by 3, so they would have had a 1-point lead. They would have kicked the ball with about 40 seconds left, and I don't believe the Vikings had any timeouts. Yeah. So it would have taken another miracle to get them in field goal range. And, kicking in Buffalo in November with a swirling wind is not the easiest thing to do unless it's a gimme chip shot. But then even in overtime, on the interception, it's ball at the 20-yard line. There's just over 2 minutes left. I believe it was 2nd and 10. You see where Singletary is. He's just to the right of Josh, and there's no one within 10 yards of him, and he's forcing the ball in the end zone. It's like, take what the defense is giving you. He catches that, runs another 10 yards, gets out of bounds, 1st and 10 from the 10-yard line. Now open up the playbook and let's get in the end zone. But they're not taking the easy plays, and they're not running the ball. They have to run the ball if they're going to win. They're not going to go deep in the playoffs if they don't have a run game. If you take Josh's rushing out of it, they're almost dead last in the league in rushing, with 3 solid running backs and a good offensive line.
God damn, he can move the ball though, dude.
He can, but
he rushes it doesn't even look like a fucking
it's almost, we don't want him to score that quickly and keep our defense out there, which, by the way, to your point about the Dolphins game, the defense was more beat up this game. We had more people out this game than we did against the Dolphins. We were missing 2 linebackers. We're missing our entire secondary again. We were missing Greg Rousseau on the edge.
Again, these are things,
banged up defense.
I would rather have my quarterback, Josh Allen, who I know is athletically and competitively better than everybody else, I'd rather have him go, fuck, dude. This was a game at home against a really good team. It had a playoff vibe, and I tried to do too much at the end. Forcing that ball into the end zone instead of dumping it off to Singletary and gaining a couple more and living to fight another down is my mistake. I'd rather him make that at home this week than against fucking Kansas City in the AFC Championship game.
Yes, but what I'm saying is
he'll
when
know
we're up
that.
by
He'll
17,
go like, look, dude, I've been here before. I can dump
Steve,
this off to there and live to fight another down.
when we're up by 17 and the game's at hand,
Yep.
we're not running the
Able
ball.
to run the ball.
We got to run the ball and bleed the clock and not even give the Vikings a chance to come back. And instead, we're throwing the ball. We're trying to make big plays. We're turning it over, and they crawl right back into the game. They had no business winning that game if the coaching did their job. And this is where I think we're really missing Dable.
You know what the Bills have to work on? 99% of the teams in the National Football League have to work on their 2-minute offense and their 4-minute offense. The Bills have to work on their 8-minute offense.
Yeah.
I want to get the ball to 25.
If the defense
and
is
have an
that
8-minute
banged up,
drive,
you got practice squad guys. You got the
80s,
backups of practice squad guys playing in the secondary, trying to cover Jefferson.
And Joe Morris, and bite the fucking, Otis Anderson and Joe Morris. Let the ball move it 4.5 yards. If you move it 4 yards every single time, you will have a 8-minute drive that will result in a touchdown.
That's why the Giants are 7-2. They're 4th in the league right now in time of possession. And that's why the Commanders beat the Eagles. They ran the ball well.
You're not going to blow teams out. But I mean, it looks to me like in the playoffs, it's almost like in every other sport, everything gets tighter and better. There are usually not any more like 42 to 45 games. Usually you're getting down. Even the high scoring teams are scoring 21 points, 23 points, because everyone, their buttholes get tighter. So you want to make sure that you can win those games when you have, look, dude, we've got 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We're up by 6 points. We get the ball to 25. We're not going to get a 3 and out. Let's have a 5-minute, 4-minute drive that when we give the ball over to them after we kick a field goal at worst, that they're only getting the ball back with 2 minutes left, and we're gonna have to lean on our defense a little bit. But if you're gonna have to rely on running it out and shooting it, going for the big score every time, it's gonna be tough, especially in the playoffs. But I think they learned a lesson, and I think that they are better for it and will be better for it.
They need to shift their philosophy. The Bengals made it to the Super Bowl last year because they played at the slowest pace in the league once they had a lead. Speaking
of the Bengals, dude, can I tell you who was the genius that drafted Joe Mixon when you guys told me not to? Remember, you guys were like, this is a bad idea. And I was like, I want Joe Mixon.
Okay, take out the one insane game, and what are you looking at?
Pretty good year. Not a bad year, dude.
No, before that game, he was 16th in fantasy football.
Well,
now he's 4th.
He's awesome. And
he is awesome, but that was one game. If he can do it again, then you'll be fine. But if he continues to play, I mean, he's struggling.
Dude, in the Punch Drunk League, I picked up Justin Fields 2 weeks ago, like a motherfucking genius.
That was what you should have been talking about last week on this podcast.
Like a motherfucking genius, dude.
I picked him up in the podcast league, and he's just sitting on my bench. So if any listeners want to trade for him, I got Mahomes. He's not coming out of my quarterback spot, but none of you are
Jackson, my oldest son's asking to trade Lamar Jackson for Justin Fields.
Well, I don't know if I'd do that.
I mean, that's not for the last 7 games of the season. You don't think that they're not making the playoffs?
Justin Fields, for fantasy purposes, he has a great run of like 2 or 3 games. Let me pull up his schedule where you're playing really bad defenses in high scoring games. So 2 weeks ago, Miami, no secondary, goes off. And then Detroit, of course, and now he plays Atlanta. But then he'll play the Jets, who are pretty good. The Packers defense is pretty good. Then he goes on his bye. But then he gets the Eagles, Buffalo, and then he finishes the fantasy championship against Detroit again. And that'll be in the Dome. So the last
Eagles
game
and Buffalo might have an issue, but the rest of those games he'll have 25 plus
but
points.
The Eagles and Buffalo are very key weeks. Those are playoff weeks in fantasy football. So if you're gonna sell him, I would maybe sell him either after this huge week that he just had or after Atlanta, if your trade deadline goes past that, because after that, he goes on a bye and then it gets really iffy those couple of weeks where you need him to perform, and you're probably not getting 30 to 40 points out of him. You'll get 20, but probably not the 30 to 40 that he's been doing.
Can you believe I've sat Russell Wilson in every single league
He
that I
looks like
have?
shit.
I
I
drafted him
watched the
in every
replay
league,
last night of that game. He's awful.
and
I
he's
mean,
not starting in one single
he's
league that
slinging
I
the
have.
ball finally, but that
I got Justin
offense.
Fields, Tua Tagovailoa, and motherfucking Heineke over fucking Russell Wilson. I'll take it.
Yeah, it happens.
Disappointment, dude.
Did you see the picture of the iced out Heineke?
Yeah, dude. Everyone, what's with this icing out? This is
I'm
the
for
thing
it.
since Kirk Cousins did it. Is it like the best player or like the MVP has to do it on the flight home? Is that what it is?
Just the white quarterback has to do it on
Yeah.
the right.
It only seems to be the white quarterback. I've only seen this feels very like they're making fun of these guys. You know what I'm saying?
They kind of
It's
are.
very yeah. Okay.
In a loving way. They kind of are.
I'm all right with that. I mean, look, by the way, the Bills game was the game of the week, the game of the year so far. Obviously, it didn't work out.
Awful game. Horrible coaching decisions once again lose us a game that we should have won.
Also, the Vikings prevent defense was ridiculous.
Yeah. The Vikings are probably the worst 8-1 team in the history of this league. And
Josh Allen, what did he have?
someone's
Like
going to
40
expose
seconds?
him at some point. They're gonna go to the playoffs and they're gonna lose by 30 points. You heard it here first.
40 seconds they had.
Yeah, and went down the field.
It was pretty and pretty easily too, and almost like didn't they have like a shot or two at the end zone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they had like almost extra time.
But we should have lost in overtime, or potentially the Vikings should have had another chance at the goal line. We did. I'm saying we should have lost before we even got the. Sorry, let me rephrase.
No worries.
We should have.
I don't know if that dawned on you.
We should have lost before we got an opportunity in overtime to get the ball, because the Vikings. There were 12 men on the field when we stopped Dalvin Cook, and it wasn't called. So
very sloppy officiating again.
Another coaching mistake, and they need to get their shit together. They need to give Josh some support. They need to run a more balanced offense. They need to protect him, and the defense needs to get healthy.
They got to revamp the entire officiating situation for the NFL. Every play is too important and too scrutinized and too. I mean, look.
Every play except for when they call a penalty or don't call a penalty is scrutinized, which it should be. Everything should be scrutinized if we're going to do that, because I think the Eagles are still undefeated if they call the face mask on Dallas Goedert. That fumble, when they ripped him down by his face mask and they didn't call it, I think that changed the whole game for the Commanders. And after that, they kind of just controlled everything.
Yeah, I feel like there are so many camera angles and so many different things that, it's like there aren't any lack of resources in this situation where you're like, oh, we don't have the money to do this, or we don't have the NFL is flush with cash. They really should just have an officiating crew up where the coordinators sit that literally just after every play for 5 seconds, you just there's 10 guys. You're looking at the offensive line. You're looking at dedicated camera on that. I'm looking at the left side wide receivers. I'm looking at the right. I'm looking at strictly the quarterback, so that you can see after every play, was there a discernible foul that occurred during that play? Hit a button. Let's look at it, show it. And every single time. It could be that easy. And I know it'll take a little more time in the beginning to get it, but you can get it down to a manageable amount of time. You can do that because, like you said, there are so many guys. They are so much bigger. And the more guys you put on the field, officiating wise, none of them are as well trained as a fucking digital camera. None of their eyes are, so what I'm saying is like, yeah, sometimes referees are in better positions to look at calls and stuff. But really now the pendulum has swung to the fact that there's a camera pointed at every single thing at every point during the game. It's not that way anymore. It should be changed. There should be an officiating crew. I mean, if anything, like I've talked about in baseball, there should be the strike zone should be digitalized. But like in football, it's like there are so many there are fuck ups every single week. Like no one is getting through games without being like blatant call right there. Like you'll see, and the announcers are all having to say it afterwards and stuff. And every broadcast now has an officiating, a former official as part of their crew. And these guys got to go back and go, well, look at like everyone's doing what, but only for those 1 or 2 plays that you can challenge. Everything else is sort of like, and I'm like, I know this is going to be old school. It's like if shit happens. There's that version of it too, I guess. But then like, let's just stop complaining about it. Like it should be a thing where you don't even complain. I mean, maybe that's where we should be. But I feel like if you want to
No, we need to
modernize
complain. There's more money going into betting than ever. So they need to get calls right because it really screws over the consumer. And eventually they're not gonna be the best league and they're not gonna make the most money because if you're not giving us a good product and you're being
the thing is though,
sketchy.
Brenton, the thing is though, are they going to just complain or are they going to stop betting? If they actually stop betting, then
I think people will stop betting. I mean,
people are not going to stop
let me
betting.
ask, what do you think
and that's what the NFL's betting on.
What do you think?
They're not going to stop betting.
What did you think of the roughing the passer call at the end of the game on Heineke?
I mean, he was on his knee. I mean, like,
but he's falling to his knee in the middle of a play, and the player can't stop on a dime. It's not the Matrix. He can't just stop on a dime and stop his momentum. Like he was trying to hold himself up. By the letter of the rule, it was a penalty. But when you're watching that's
my point.
Logically, is that a penalty?
Dude,
it's the same shit with like, is it a catch
golf,
or is it not a
golf
catch?
Has got more dumb rules than anyone, and football is making rules seem dumber to protect players. That's really what they want to do. Like, honestly, dude, I mean, I would not want to be a defensive player right now because you're basically playing flag football with the quarterback.
Yeah. Until
they decide that they want to run and make you look foolish. And now that's what a lot of them do. Most of the quarterbacks, there are no like third option. The third option is hit the fucking road, dude. Get on your fucking horse and go. Look once. Second option, boom, I got to go. I'm Josh Allen. And that's the problem. They're big as those fucking guys.
Yeah, I think they got to amend that rule. If the quarterback's outside of the pocket, he's got to be treated as a runner unless you hit him in the helmet. Or he slides, which Heineke didn't do. He got down on his knee with 2 defenders running at him full speed within 5 feet of him. They're not going to be able to stop. It's impossible. And that call completely affected the ending of that game, and it shouldn't be something that decides how that game ends. And Heineke knows he can do that now. He gets up and he's celebrating a penalty. So it's like, what are they supposed to do?
Well, he's celebrating a win.
They tear their ACL
from that penalty.
Should the defender tear his ACL trying to get out of the way last second at full speed, and he's carrying 300 pounds? They need to amend some stuff.
Even worse, you know what they're more afraid of? They're more afraid of getting lit up on like, look at this guy not trying hard enough and not tackling the quarterback, and he snuck out and he ran for 50 yards and first down. And being embarrassed either in the film room in front of coaches and players, or even worse, on Instagram or social media where
he'll get cut. He'll lose his livelihood because he wasn't allowed to hit this guy who then does a little spin move and runs for 20 yards. That's his livelihood. He's working for that next contract. Every guy that steps on that field, they're working for their next contract. So they're making, I'm not saying they're making it unwatchable, but if they keep going in this direction where it feels like this year, the roughing the quarterback calls have been so bad, it's going to really ruin the product. Yeah. And it's going to make betting very difficult.
Are sacks up or down? I wonder if they're up or down.
Shit.
Compared to most years. I don't know if like protecting the quarterback would have an effect on the number of sacks, or I mean, like, I don't hear about anyone like, you usually hear like of one or two guys are like, oh, he's got like 15 sacks already or something like that. Or
Mhm. Yeah, the leader right now is Matthew Judon from New England with 11.5.
all right.
I got to think they're down a little bit.
Yeah.
It's impossible to just Google that.
But yeah, no, I mean, look, they are. I mean, the sack calls; those are all questionable. Like you would have to look at those and see what intent was, and then it's like you're deciding what else someone else's intention. But
Mhm.
I'm talking about like, did this guy step out of bounds and then come back in and catch the ball? Like we're losing like either time on those things, or like those should not be challengeable. Like those should be looked at every single fucking play. Like those should just be a thing. Like, we shouldn't even have to worry about that. I don't know. There has to be a better way than just relying on 6 usually fucking white, middle-aged, not always in great shape people. Like there is nothing. These guys are not former Navy pilots with like, we took them because their eyesight is beyond what most people's can possibly imagine. Like they just were willing to do the job, and went through all the shit and, or, just stuck it out and grinded it out.
Yeah.
There's nothing about their skill set necessarily, I think, that makes them, better visually. Yeah, they get training as to where to look and how, but like, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not skilled at it. So not better than fucking TV cameras, that I know. But anyway, yeah, I was, I'm disappointed the Bills didn't win. Obviously, I want you guys to be happy, but it was a great
we're
game.
we're still happy, but prayers to Buffalo because the Bills and the Sabres are winless in November.
You're not really that worried. I mean, are you that worried?
If we lose to Cleveland, I think we really need to reevaluate the trajectory of this team. There's still a playoff caliber team that is dangerous because we know what they're capable of. But if they lose to Cleveland, I don't think we can look at them as the juggernaut that we thought they were. And
no, I think if they lose to Cleveland, it's panic time.
They need to get healthy on defense. Josh's elbow needs to get healthy, but they need to get healthy on defense. Missing the entire secondary for 7 games now?
Yeah.
They got to get healthy.
There's a petition on change.org. I'm sure Brenton saw this, from all the Buffalo moms to tell Josh Allen it's going to be okay.
Yeah, it had thousands of signatures, just letting them know they love him and they're proud of him, win or lose. That's Bill's mom.
Nice.
Meanwhile, you guys fucking ripped Daniel Jones to shreds if he so much as throws a pick.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, we've seen enough.
Yeah,
we haven't had any good times.
Have you? You've had some good times this year. You just needed a coach.
This year's been great.
You needed a coach that knew how to get to him and use his skill set, and he still has no weapons, and he's kicking ass. That's got to make you feel good.
He has turn the ball over, dude.
He has no weapons, and he's doing amazing.
I don't know. I literally don't know who he's throwing the ball to. I cannot name a single person that
you got a Johnson, you got a Sills,
Robinson,
you got Hodgkins, who literally came off the street, named after a cancer. You've got Galladay now, but I don't know if you want Galladay.
Dude, Galladay.
What happened to Bellinger? Did he fuck up his nose and he's been out?
His eyeball. They ripped it out of his head.
So he may be back. He may be back this week.
No, they're thinking he's having surgery. He may never play football again. He may not be able to see out of that fucking eye. Dude.
He's listed as questionable. Like he may be back and he's not on the IR.
My man, dude. Get a patch, get an eye patch, and get out there.
Yeah,
Ronnie Lott style. Pop that eyeball out.
You might get Bellinger back. Saquon Barkley is the fucking man, and you're going to have to pay him now. Like he's the man. You're going to have to give him a Zeke contract. And yeah, I mean, you've done it with very little. And I think your point differential for your record is one of the lowest ever, to be 7-2, and
I know.
You're winning
I have
really
no delusions,
close games.
but...
And what, you've trailed in 6 of them in the fourth quarter, 5 or 6 of them. So
I don't think we can give Saquon Barkley like the fucking the Ezekiel Elliott deal. I don't think we can do it.
I don't think anyone should or will,
Yeah.
because that's not how football works anymore.
I don't mind overpaying for 2 years. You know,
he's gonna want 7. He's gonna want
7 years.
He's gonna want 6 or 7. He wants to retire a Giant.
Dude, well, fine, but those are baby steps, dude. You're a running back. Give me a break. 7 years.
I'm gonna play till I'm Tom Brady's age.
Yeah, dude. You're not no one gets those like length contracts, like 7-year contracts in the NFL, unless you're a quarterback. No running back's getting 7 years.
Yeah, Josh
dude.
only got 6, right?
Yeah. 7 years. No fucking way. What are you, Aaron Judge? 7 years, dude. I fully intend on buying a Saquon Barkley Tesla at the Saquon Barkley Tesla dealership in 7 years, dude. I mean, if you told me, look, if Saquon Barkley's still running the ball effectively in 7 years, well, then God help us, because we're gonna have probably a decent 7 years. But more than likely, the man's gonna own car dealerships by then.
He'll be 32 then.
Yeah, that's done.
Maybe. I mean, maybe he'll be the next Frank Gore.
Bro, he's not built like Frank Gore. Frank Gore was built differently.
Yeah.
Some of those guys are built differently. Matt Breida, he's the backup.
Another Buffalo guy.
Yeah, Chicago guy. A lot of fucking stops for Matt Breida. But 7 years
he was
on one
under
team.
Dable's system for a couple of seasons there, and now Bills cut him, and he is picked right up.
I mean, what's the longest contract Detroit ever gave Barry Sanders? You know, it's like Barry Sanders. If anyone's going to get 7 years as a running back, Barry Sanders deserves 7 years.
Yeah.
I'm sure he probably got fucking 2 years at a time.
Speaking of weird happenings in the NFL with cuts, you saw Eno Benjamin got released by the Cardinals, and no one really knows why. And I really hope that they cover it in Hard Knocks.
Oh, yeah. Did you watch the first one?
Yeah, it made me really like Kingsbury less and less. The more he talked, the less I liked him, and just now he's showing off his house. With
the lion poster.
I forgot how mad we all got at him when everyone was quarantined and he was showing off his gigantic living room. I forgot about that, and now he's
a little more than I could afford. But you know, I figured, well, I'm in paradise, I'll go for it. Yeah, you were like, look, dude, these fucking idiots. I don't know how long that these people get until they figure out I'm not anything what they think I am. So goddamn right, I'm gonna live like MTV's Cribs till then.
Yeah. Way to save your money, buddy, because you're going to be on the street after this year, if not before the year ends.
You're going to be living in fucking some goddamn shit college town for the, you know, so you might as well live in a fucking titty palace in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Until you're, you know,
but
you're not going to be living there coaching Arizona State.
I really hope they cover it because, you know, at first, it's like, okay, if he got cut, maybe it's because he did something criminal or he was using performance-enhancing drugs and he got caught. But the fact that he got scooped up right away by Houston says that, okay, somebody had a disagreement with a running back who has been playing amazing when Connor's been out and is making the league minimum, and you cut that guy. You're not paying him anything, and you cut that guy. So somebody got butthurt by someone saying something, and you know, that's a poorly run organization. Not as bad as the Raiders, who make me look like a fucking idiot again because they can't beat a team with no coach. I mean, McDaniel should be fired. McDaniel should be fired yesterday.
McDaniels will not be fired.
Still a coach. And then the fucking owner comes out and says, hey, it's not the thing that we want, but you don't win overnight. Just win, baby. It's doing his stupid thing with his fucking bowl cut. You just got beat by a high school coach and a team that was starting a 40-year-old quarterback who just had the longest rush of his career against you. Did you see him run? It was. Yeah.
Well,
like,
you know, maybe Jeff Saturday was like, maybe Jeff Saturday was like, hey, I'm an offensive lineman. I'm going to show you guys how to do this thing, right? And then we're going to go back to running the football and because we have the best, you know, running back in the league, and then sometimes holes will open up and other people can run. I mean, they literally ran the ball. They ran the ball really well. And they took time off the clock, and they got a little lucky.
You hear that, Buffalo? Take some fucking time off the clock.
It's not rocket science, dude. You want to score quick? Go to Cliff Kingsbury's fucking palatial, but you want to win football games and chew out the clock, go see Bill Parcells.
Yeah.
By
So congrats to the Colts, and my God, Las Vegas, you spent all this money, you spent all these draft picks, you built arguably a better team, and you are probably at this point in time, your record isn't the worst, but you are the worst team in football based on how you're playing.
Yeah.
And 3 weeks ago, we were all excited thinking they were going to go on a run. But you are the
Seattle
worst
losing to Tampa was
team
disappointing.
in football. Yeah, that was Geno, that fumble. Geno can't make that mistake.
I thought about it a lot, and I was like, the money, everyone, it was like a sucker's bet. I was almost like they were trying to get a lot of money on Seattle. And I was like, fuck, in hindsight, I should have seen that coming. I got a couple games like that this week that I'm looking at. I'm like, these feel like sucker bets, but I also have one that I'm like, lock of the week, even though my lock of the week last week wasn't a lock of the week. And it's also a 3-point spread game. But anyway, yeah, we did not do well there at all. Did we all get, how many did we get wrong? I know we got the Seattle game wrong. I know we got the Vegas game wrong.
I think the other two were correct. The Steelers, that was a great call with TJ Watt back, and that looked like a different team, and that looked like Steelers football. And the Saints they're not great either. I think we just need to avoid betting on bad teams. We've been putting too much into bad teams, and Vegas is the worst of the worst. So sorry, Cena, but that is an unwatchable team. My God.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Fucking disappointment. You let a high school coach with no experience in the NFL other than playing just completely embarrass you.
Derek Carr is going to take the fall for this, isn't he?
He's losing the locker room. Go watch his after the game press conference. Like he's not going to have the faith of his team, and they're like, you know what? Maybe at this point we should just tank and get a new quarterback.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Happen. That's why I think he'll be gone, and
yeah, he's gone.
What's his McDaniels will still be there.
But how much
McDaniels will go? I didn't want this guy, or I don't want this guy.
How much is left on his contract?
High draft pick.
How much is left on Derek Carr's contract?
Manageable amount, I think.
By the way, I have Barry Sanders' contract here.
Yeah.
5 years into his career, he signed a 6-year, $33.5 million deal.
Right. Let's give Saquon the same thing.
Yeah.
The Raiders at the start of the year inked Carr to a 3-year extension worth $121.5 million with 65.28 guaranteed. No other team is going to take that on.
Yeah.
So he's the 7th highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Who's going to take that on, though?
The Raiders will take that on.
No, the Raiders have already taken it on. That's what I'm saying.
I know, but they'll pay half the salary. You take them, you pay other half, but you're going to save because you're going to get a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract that you don't have to pay for 5 years. So that's how you make the money up.
It's the way he's playing, he's not selling me. I'm not. If I'm a GM,
I mean, if you believe in any of these rookies or people that could be, coming out next year, what's Bryce Young or whoever else is coming out,
CJ Stroud.
Yep. So there are options, but you just got to let these guys be who they are, which are now running quarterbacks because nobody can tackle the quarterback anymore. Mm-hmm. Full circle. Speaking of winners and losers, congratulations to the managers of the year in baseball. Terry Francona for Cleveland and Buck Showalter for the Mets, who won his 4th manager of the year with his 4th different fucking team. I mean, that's insane. You talk about impressive. That's insane. 4 different times manager of the year with 4 different organizations. So, and then rookie of the year, American League was Rodriguez for Seattle, who beat out Pena, but Pena got the MVP of the World Series and a ring his fucking rookie year. So that's pretty cool. But then National League, who won the rookie of the year? I can't remember. And then the big Cy Young and MVP come this week. Who won?
It was Michael Harris.
Yeah, Michael Harris in Atlanta, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Love, by the way, that they can't just do it all at once.
No, they gotta
milk it.
Dude, they're America's pastime. Everything's slow in baseball.
Yeah.
One day they have to count all the votes today for the MVP, then they got to count all the votes for the fucking, Meanwhile, I mean, like the Gold Gloves have just come out in one day. Every position, everything. By the way, Jose Trevino won the Platinum Glove, which is the best fielder in the whole league. So, congrats to him. And what else? Let's get to some picks, I think. Oh, Giselle's dating I was about to say Taibo, her jujitsu instructor.
Good for her.
But I'm happy if I'm Tom Brady. Go fucking date some fucking jujitsu instructor.
Yeah.
And Pete Davidson's fucking Emily Ratajkowski. I'm like, give me a break, dude. Give me a break. Give me a fucking break with this guy. It's insane. Emily Ratajkowski. These are dreams.
Steve, you have Tracy. Be happy with what you have. Don't covet what others have.
Who's Tracy? Wait, what? All right. Oh, I have the love of my life. I'm very happy.
Yeah,
I'm very content.
You go. You built a life.
My wife's brunette and has big tits, so
there you go.
There's my Emily.
Everyone's doing good.
Yeah. She's not happy that I can't hear though. I'm like yelling all the time.
She's gonna have to get used to it. I mean, my dad lost all his hearing. He had.
I'm gonna have to get one of those things that the old timers have. You stick it in your ear.
Yeah.
You
You're gonna have to get the horn.
Oh, before we get to picks, let's do TV. I watched The King of Tulsa. Did anyone else watch it?
I don't even know what that is.
That's that new Paramount show with Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, that's where you lost me. I don't have Paramount. I'm not getting every fucking streaming service. If we want to do that,
where do you draw the line? Paramount?
If we want to do that, let's just put them all on one thing and call it cable, because that's what it is now. You're putting all these great shows on all these different things, and I got to have 14 different subscriptions that I got to remember to pay on time, and then like, am I even using half of these things? And it's fucking stupid.
You're not.
So I'm going to let Cassie's job pay for my Hulu and Disney, and I'm going to have Netflix, and I am content.
HBO?
I got
Showtime?
HBO. That's all included in her package that she gets, because she has to be able to monitor all that stuff and
make sure she has like an Illuminati package.
Basically. So we get all that stuff. I'm not paying for Apple.
Oh, so she has Hulu and Live plus Live TV.
I'm not paying for ESPN Plus. Like, she gets all these things. She has Hulu Live. She has all the premium movie channels. And then we get Disney Plus and all that. Well,
Disney has a thing where you get Disney Plus, ESPN, and something else for like $5 or something. I don't know what it is.
But but I don't think it's live TV. I think it's just on demand stuff.
Well, anyway, you're missing out. Yellowstone's back. It was pretty good for
it's great.
Season premiere.
I'll listen to you talk about it, but it's whatever. I don't need to watch.
King of Tulsa's
I don't have to watch all the shows.
Sylvester Stallone is he has the range is starting to dwindle. Like it's like, because he's 75 and he still looks pretty good, he's like, but his face doesn't move, so you don't literally know. Like this could be a drama or a comedy. You know how like Sopranos was like also the funniest show on television? You would go from moments of like hysterical, like, but you knew like when it was good, even when it was serious, it was still kind of joking. Like the intervention from Michael, when like Sylvia was like, I saw you had your hair in the toilet, disgusting. Like, these are serious moments, but they are hilarious. Like, I think this is what this is trying to do, except not on purpose. Like, so Stallone is like, it could be, if you just listen to him talk, it's hilarious. And him trying to get like a serious point across at this point doesn't really read as well anymore. So we'll see. I mean, it was only the first episode, but that Yellowstone came back. The Queen. You watch The Queen, Breton?
Nope.
Queen is like,
the Queen?
It's about
What's
history, dude. You learn about history. It's on Netflix. Oh, The Crown. That's what it is.
Yeah, there you go.
It's about the Queen. The Crown. You watched that one?
No, I haven't watched that, but I will.
It's about history, dude. It's about the
I will at some point.
The British royalty.
Mhm.
So, but you get to
Yeah,
get like
my people.
you get to go to history lessons though. Like sometimes they have like the real people in it, Winston Churchill and shit.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. The actual Winston Churchill was, yeah.
but now they're in the 90s. It's pretty cool. So that's that. All right, let's get down to fucking some picks. Let's make some people some money. That's what I'm watching.
I fell asleep while my wife watched that new Lindsay Lohan movie on Netflix.
What?
And she made her big comeback with a Christmas movie. And if you want to watch the worst acting probably ever in a production that cost tens of millions of dollars to make, go find that Lindsay Lohan Christmas movie. It is fucking horrible. And even the plot, the way it's written, it's like she's this rich, spoiled girl. Her dad owns this insane ski resort. He's made millions and millions of dollars. She's well off, and he wants her to come on and take a job with him, but she doesn't want to do that. She wants to get her own job and make her own way, but it's not something noble like I want to be a veterinarian or I want to be a nurse and I want to help people. She wants to be a social media influencer.
Dude, that's like the number one job that people want now, dude.
Yeah, and I tapped out probably 30 minutes in. It was.
Does she ever take her clothes off? A lot of social
No.
media people do that.
No. And her
Do you
range is
want her
not
to
what
take
it
her
used to
clothes
be
off?
because her skin is
Yeah.
very tight.
That-
So her
Dude.
range is not that great either.
Yep. You should have a fucking face off with Stallone. You'd have no idea if there's a drama or a comedy.
All right.
That sucks. All right. Is that a Christmas movie? What's it called?
It's a Christmas movie. Let's see.
That's fine.
Lindsay Lohan Christmas movie. Find it first.
There's a
Falling
couple
for
new ones that
Christmas.
come out.
Falling for Christmas.
Yeah,
Falling for Christmas. Then there's like what is it? Violent Night. There's like a Christmas movie about like
That looks fun.
yeah, it's like John Leguizamo and the guy from Stranger Things is Santa Claus, and they fight each other and shit. It looks weird, but
Yeah.
we'll see. All right, picks now. Let's go, guys. Get fucking serious. Game face is on. I've got a couple games I'm looking at, but
I know you're
two
looking at.
stand
I
out
know
to me.
you're looking at the Giants game. You're saying
was
3-point
looking.
spread, and immediately, okay, yeah, this guy wants to take the Giants at home against Detroit.
I do. I really do. But
Even though
I would
Detroit's
be-
playing really good football right now, they're a bad
Yep.
team playing good football. We've been picking bad teams playing bad football. That's a bad team playing good football.
well, I've got another option for you.
Steve, road Jared Goff is a much different person than home
Yeah,
Jared
he
Goff.
sucks.
And
the
you
road.
guys you did a phenomenal job, other than maybe Pierce had like one good run. You did a great job shutting down the run game this last week. Your secondary has been solid. So I don't mind that pick. That's a good pick. That's a game that you just worry that maybe this is a young team getting excited and now they're 7-2, that they overlook this game and they don't
They're
play
not
Detroit the
overlooking
way
anything.
should.
They don't have they have a coach that will not let them overlook. They realize they're in no fucking shape to overlook. My God.
I mean, you guys have a
You
shot.
just got
the
here.
division right now. This is you legitimately have a
we still have
chance
2 games
to unseat
against the division leader.
Yeah.
All right, but
what's
my
your other
real
pick?
game, the one I will not be talked off, is Pittsburgh Steelers at home over the Cincinnati Bengals.
So you want Pittsburgh on the money line?
And now I could be talked into giving you the 4 points, but I really think they're going to win the game. I want to hear other opinions, though.
I mean, what we
Chase
saw.
is still out, right?
Hmm?
Chase will still be out. He's like done 6 weeks.
He's supposed to come back. He's
check.
practicing.
Yeah. He may be out, but it's looking like he could be back, which let's see.
I mean, I maybe longer than that. I think it's supposed to be 6 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
They were
That
saying
was not 6 weeks ago.
They were saying 4 to 5, and I think it's been 3 weeks. Sorry, this is bad podcasting. You guys talk about something while I pull up his info.
Yeah, I just like Pittsburgh the way they're playing. I like them at home.
He's out. He's out. The hope
He's
is
out.
Jeremy Fowler from ESPN reports the Bengals are hopeful Jamar Chase will return in week 12. We are in week 11. So he is out this week for sure against Pittsburgh, potentially back against Tennessee, but definitely back against Kansas City in week 13.
Okay. I mean, I like Pittsburgh, so
Mhm.
I like them at home. I think they're playing better. I mean, it was a
So
fluke game, the first game of the year.
you can get 4
And they won.
points at minus 110, or you can take them on the money line plus 165.
That's, I like the money line. If we're going to go for it, let's go for it.
Okay. Pittsburgh on the money line. Lucas, who do you like?
I'm looking at this New York Jets, New England Patriots.
Woo! In Foxborough, right?
Yeah, it's 3.5. The half point kind of worries me, but
I've got 3 right now, unless BetDSI does that fun thing where they're like, we need to update the lines.
well, if it's a 3, definitely take the 3 because I think New England against Belichick against Zach Wilson. You can probably assume 3 interceptions at least.
Mm-hmm. I am going to go with the Cowboys. I like them getting a point against Minnesota. I think Minnesota just had their Super Bowl. I think the Cowboys are a better team on both sides of the football. Cowboys are coming off a really tough loss, and this is a must-win game. And I think they go into Minnesota and they take care of business. And Minnesota gets their second loss that they should have gotten several weeks ago. But here they are at 8-1, and they're feeling mighty, and they're going to get knocked down a peg.
I don't want to bet with the fucking Cowboys, but again, it's not my situation. I mean, I don't feel I think the Cowboys are they should have won. They should have beat the Packers, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not convinced that they were going to do this turn. I'm almost happy that I'm thinking that they're going to start to shit the bed, but because their defense has not played the way it did the first couple weeks of the season.
No.
Or especially when Dak was out. Their defense has not been that even.
But
I mean, I didn't even remember Micah Parsons being called in the game against the Packers.
They're still a better team.
They are.
And I will go with the better team.
All right. I'm not going to talk
other
you
than
off
that,
of it.
there's not a lot on this slate that's very exciting. I mean, you can take the under in the Baltimore-Carolina game. I think with the spread as big as it is, Baltimore is just going to run the ball. Carolina's not going to do much against that defense, which looked insanely good with those new additions. Roquan Smith looked amazing in his first game. So I think coming off the bye, playing a bad Carolina team that has to start Baker Mayfield, I don't know if Baltimore could probably cover. I'm seeing 12 points, but definitely the over-under. I mean, if we're going to play over-unders, that's the game to take the under in because there's probably going to be weather. We're looking
41.5. I got it at.
I got 42 right now. I don't see Carolina scoring more than 10 points, and I don't think Baltimore is going to run up the score because they're just going to run the ball. So I could get talked off of the Dallas game and take the under in that, and I could even buy a couple of points here. I could buy it up to 44.
I say take both games.
Fuck yeah.
Lucas wants to get paid.
Let's shoot for it, dude.
And then Bill's on the money line.
That game worries me. I see the line
that could
right
be
now.
those historic Buffalo Cleveland snow games. That could be a really messy, holy shit, 3 points were scored the whole game. Maybe that's a game to look at the over.
Yeah, the line's 47.5 right now. That's way too high.
On BetDSI, I can beef it up to 43. They've already adjusted down to 41. That's why California should have passed Prop 27. I could have gotten a better line on BetMGM right now. But now I'm stuck buying points to get us to 43. So do you want to take the under in the Bills game? I mean, what's the weather? Look up the weather right now. It's saying it's going to be.
I just read
Friday. It all clears up, and then Josh Allen goes for 50 points on his own.
They're saying 30-mile-an-hour winds, and
yeah. Then let's take the under. I mean that's now 5 games.
Buffalo's supposed to get 3 feet of snow.
Yeah. Would be a hell of a week to run the ball because Cleveland is.
Mhm.
Yeah. 3 feet.
Oh, and it just I don't mean to keep going back to the same thing, but we trade for Nyheim Hines and they still haven't used him at all. He's run one route in 2 games and they just have not used him. So what was the point of that deal?
To piss you off,
Basically,
to make you upset, which I like.
Let's
I'm
run
happy
the ball.
about the results of that trade.
let's run the fucking ball.
What does that get us, Brenton? Put it all together.
Okay, so we have taking the under in the Ravens-Panthers game, bought up to 44 points. Taking Buffalo's under, bought up to 43 points. Patriots -3 over the Jets. The Cowboys -1 against the Vikings. And the Steelers on the money line. So $50 is going to net us.
800.
It's optimistic. And lines have changed. What the fuck?
God
Okay.
damn it, Brenton.
It's bet DSI. Give me a minute.
If you want to
Okay, so they've
Oh.
taken half points off the unders for Baltimore and Buffalo. So now they're both at 43.5. Fine. Still going to be under. So that's going to net us. Okay. All right. So once again, I'm just going to read this down the line. Anyone who wants to tail us, you're going to be a very happy person when all these hit. But you got Carolina, Baltimore under 43.5. You got Cleveland, Buffalo under 43.5. You got New England -3, the Cowboys -1, and the Steelers on the money line +165. That $50 is going to net us $1,238.16.
Bam, motherfuckers. I told you.
A nice week.
I'm gonna hit that one too. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna mush this fucking thing.
You're probably getting better
doubling down.
lines than I am.
We'll see, man. We'll see, bro.
You are. You can shop. You
Yeah.
can shop
I
in New York.
don't know. Speaking of shopping, come buy tickets to my shows at Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey at Go Bananas, first weekend in December. Second week in December, Zanies in Chicago, the different locations, the Rosemont and the downtown. And then New Year's Eve weekend at the Comedy Club in Louisville, Kentucky. So SteveRenneseasy.com for all those tickets. You guys got any dates coming up you want to fucking pedal?
Doing Brea Improv in December. I think the 15th. And
Nice.
I'll be around town. If you're in Hollywood, DM me and I'll get you some shows.
Okay.
Slide into Brenton's DMs.
Yeah.
That is, yeah. What about you, Lucas?
All we got right now is January 26th to 28th with that in Ray in Baltimore.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So-
Magoobies?
That's Magoobies.
Oh, yeah, dude. That place is cool. I like that. Yeah, my sister-in-law lives like 20 minutes away from there. So, yeah, awesome. Have fun. That's the podcast for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Let's you can thank us later on for making you all the money you're going to make this weekend betting with us. Please tell people about the podcast after you win to rate, subscribe, and to get those numbers up. So we appreciate it. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Thank you very much for joining me. How you been? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Steve Renazizi. I'm the guy